Good afternoon, fellow researchers. This is Dr. Obed Research Initiative. In our last video, we looked at how to identify a researchable topic or a researchable problem. In today's video, we'll be looking at what constitutes the background of a study, your chapter 1 of your thesis, project, or dissertation. All right, we'll pick up a topic and we'll dissect it step by step. In today's videos, I want us to look at this topic. I was researching and I cut across this topic from my ingenuity. I did not copy it from anybody's thesis. I thought of it and came up with this topic. Assessment of safety and risk management technique in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop in technical colleges in Rivers State. I take it again. Assessment of safety and risk management techniques in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop in technical colleges in Rivers State. That's a researchable problem. It's a researchable topic. First, we have to identify the independent variable and secondly, the dependent variable from the topic. We talk of independent variable is a variable that stands on its own, is independent, it can make sense, it makes sense. It stands on its own and it makes sense. While the independent variable depends on the dependent variable depends on the independent variable to make, in order for it to make meaning or to convey its information completely. From this topic stated in this episode, the independent variable is safety and risk management technique. It means that we will manipulate the safety and risk management techniques that are needed in order to mitigate, in order to ameliorate, in order to eliminate accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop. That's what the topic states, and that's what we need to do. First and foremost, how do we manipulate on the independent variable? How do we manipulate the independent variable? We have to look at other sub-variables that need to be identified from the independent variable, from risk, safety and risk management technique. What are the question you should ask yourself in this case is, what are those safety and risk management technique? It's a technique. Technique means it's a pattern. It means it's a way of doing things. What are those ways of identifying safety and risk management techniques in order to ameliorate accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop? Okay, from the topic stated here, there are some independent variables that have been manipulated from the topic there. Example, we have safety management technique, hazard identification technique, hazard analysis technique, risk communication technique, risk assessment technique. These 6 techniques or 6 risks, this 6 technique forms the objective of the study. That is the next thing you're supposed to look at. After identifying the independent variable, the next thing is to build it into the objective of the study. And from this study we have here, the objectives here include assessment of safety management technique in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop, assessment of hazard identification technique in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop, assessment of hazard management technique in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop, assessment of hazard analysis technique in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop, assessment of risk communication technique, and assessment of risk assessment technique. Now, it means that we formed the objective of the study. The next is to form the research questions. The research question here includes what are the safety management technique, what are the hazard identification technique, what are the hazard management technique, what are the hazard analysis technique, what are the risk communication technique, what are the risk assessment technique. This gives you your research question. Now the hypothesis is a guess theory. It deals with gesture theory. We want to guess whether the study will tilt to A, nor the study will tilt to B. It's subject to change. If by the end of the day, using null hypothesis to state this hypothesis, if the study tilts toward A, either it accepts the null hypothesis or you reject the null hypothesis. In any case, if you reject the null hypothesis, you uphold the alternate hypothesis. All right, the hypothesis we have here states, I'll just state one, and every other one follows same. There is no significant difference between the main responses of teachers and instructors on the safety management techniques in mitigating accident in mechanical engineering craft workshop. Did you see that? So if you follow it that way, the second one should read, there's no significant difference between the main responses of teachers and instructors on the hazard identification technique. You see, the next one should read hazard management technique, hazard analysis technique, just like that. The way you have it in your objective, you state it that way in your hypothesis. Did you see that? The next thing is to identify all the variables that have been introduced into this study from the topic down to the hypothesis. You watch very well, there are new variables that are being introduced as the study moves from one form or one state to the other. All right, from the topic there, we have the technical college, we have mechanical engineering craft practice, we have mechanical engineering craft workshop, we have accident mitigation, risks and safety and risk management technique. Now, the safety and risk management technique gave birth to safety management technique, hazard identification technique, hazard management technique, hazard analysis technique, risk communication technique, and risk assessment technique. These are the new variables that have been introduced into the study as the study moved from one state to another. Now, all these variables that have been introduced have to be discussed. A kind of introducing them, introducing each of these variables at the background of the study, so that the study will not lack what we call those vital variables not being discussed. In this case, you have to introduce each of these variables in the background of the study. If you do that, then the study is set to go. Are you there? All right. And in each of these variables, you ensure that you discuss it with at least 1.5 paragraph. You discuss each of these variables within 1.5 paragraph. A paragraph should contain between 10 to 15 lines of sentences. A paragraph should contain between 10 to 15 lines of sentences. That's how you would discuss each of these variables. And you have to be very precise. Go straight to the point. If it's a variable that requires its definition, give us the definition, and then give us your own definition. After discussing, after bringing what people have said about a variable, then you have to summarize it using your own description about a particular variable. For instance, if you pick up a variable like accident mitigation, many people may have said something about accident mitigation. What is accident? What is mitigation? And accident mitigation. You will just pick it brief by brief and you put them together. Then you have to give us summarily what you think is accident mitigation. That's how you discuss each of these variables, and by the end of the day, I bet you'll be within the line of the researchers. Thank you very much.